Hello and welcome. Adita Lang here, and in today's strength class, we are going to focus on lower body and a little bit of abdominals and core. Does that work for you? I hope so. So with that said, you will need today a mat and some resistance tubing. A nice cleared out area, nothing to get into your way. Water close by, you'll take breaks when you need to, and work at a pace that is comfortable to you. Are you ready to start? Simply marching in place. Now, as we march, I want you to think about engaging your center. So you're pulling in your rib cage ever so slightly to pull in from the abdominals in toward the spine. At the same time, shoulders are back and down, chest is up. And you are breathing as you move. Simply walk forward with a little heel dig and come back. And again, up. Using your breath. One more. And march right here. Taking the feet out. And now, as your feet are apart, I want you to shift your weight from one foot to the other, adding a little bit of balance. Come back to center march. And again, legs go out. Shift your weight from one side to the other. Shoulders remain back and down, chest is up. Come center march, and march with a heel dig. And again. Full inhale, full exhale as you're moving. One more. March center. Separating your feet. Shift your weight from one side to the other. We have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Turn to the left. Roll through the back foot. Up and down. Reach the arms up. Now, shift your weight and lift through the glutes. Up. Roll through the foot. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the heel down, stretch forward, deep breath. Exhale, turning to the front, toes up. Now sitting down with the hips and hinging from the hips. Inhale here, exhale, hold. And come center, arm comes up, and stretch over. And the other side, up and over. And march center. Chest up tall. Separating your feet. Shift your weight side to side. 4 and 3. Here's 2 and 1. Come center. Turn to the right. Roll through the foot. Down and up. Now lift the leg up, contracting through the glutes. And up, down, up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch here. Turning to the front, toes up, and sitting down with the right leg and hinging. Pushing your tailbone back as your chest comes forward. Deep breath. Exhale. And come center. Now, starting with nothing. Just our legs and our body weight. Taking your feet out, turning your toes out, and I want you to come down one time. So, one time, what are we doing? We're looking for our knees. Are your knees over your ankles? So I want you to move your feet to make sure your knees are directly over your ankles. From there, contract from the glutes up, and I want you to feel like you're pushing your knees out as you go down. So this is called intentional training. We're really thinking about what we're doing so that we can engage as much muscle fiber as possible. Now the center is embraced and held in tight. You're breathing, inhale one way and exhale the other. Contracting from the glutes as you come up and pushing out through the knee as you come down. 4, 3, here's 2, and 1. Come up. Now finding a focal point or using a chair or wall for balance, I want the right leg up and extend through the heel. So feeling your quadricep right on top. I want you to push like it's 1,000 pounds and feel the muscle actually contract. 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. The other side. Leg comes up, abdominals are all the way in, contract right from the center, and push through the heel, utilizing all your toes in the right foot to keep you balanced and steady, and slowing down so you can feel the quadricep contract through the left hand. 4, 3, and 2, now 1. Legs come back out. Are you ready? 1 first, make sure the knees are in the right spot. From there, squeeze up through the glutes and push out through the knees. Inhale one way, exhale the other. Using the breath as you go. 5 more. And 4, 3, here's 2, and 1. Back to center, are you ready? Find your focal point or hold on to something. Now, if you're holding on to something, I want you to hold lightly. Trying to make the left leg work a little harder. Use all your toes into the floor. Now, take your right hand on your quad and feel the quadricep contract. Shoulders are back and down, chest is up. You have 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. The other side. Shoulders back, abdominals are in tight, and push through the heel. Press out and in. Using your breathing as you go. 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down. Now, let's get our tubing, shall we? Starting with a basic squat. So taking the tubing underneath the arch of your foot so that you feel very stable over the band. At the same time, your feet are directly underneath your hip joints, and we are holding the band. Now, my band is very long, so if I hold the handles, you see how there's so much slack? That means I don't have a lot of resistance. So because I need more resistance, I'm gonna reach further into the band. You can place your hand where you feel like you have the most resistance for what you need. Now, at the same time, shoulders are back and down, chest is up. Deep breath, and as you exhale, have a seat, aiming the tailbone back, hinging slightly, and then pull up. Inhale one way, exhale the other. Tailbone goes back, chest stays up. So here's what I want you to think about. Wherever your eyes are going, your body will follow. So if you're looking at the floor, you're going down with your spine. So keeping the neutral spine, I need you looking up at me. Embracing the center so you feel very engaged through the abdominals. 4 more. And 3. Now 2. And 1. Excellent job. So I'm going to turn sideways. It'll be easier. I'll go this way. Taking the front foot with the band under the arch. So same thing. You can either hold onto the handles or deeper in the band, but I want there to be some resistance. Back leg goes back. Your feet are hip distance apart. Back leg goes back. Chest is up. Hands at the waist and bending both knees. Your goal is 90 degrees with both knees, but your front knee has to stay right over the ankle. This is what I get for staring at you and I'm not focusing forward. There we go. Holding your balance, keeping your eyes fixed on one point. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yeah, the other leg. Underneath the arch of the foot. Remember, your feet are separated about hip distance. Come back on the toe, chest up nice and tall, bending both knees. So if you think of it this way, your front leg guides you down. You contract through the back glute in order to lift up. Four more. And 3. Now 2 and 1. Come center once again, a squat. Grabbing our band where we need to. So remember, the more band you have, the easier it is. The less band, when you start taking band away, it becomes more challenging. So I want you to find your resistance level. Abdominals are nice and tight. Resting up. Sitting down. Now keeping the knees over the ankle. So you're aiming your tailbone back and at the same time looking up towards me so you keep neutral spine. 5 and 4, 3. Here's 2 and 1. Now, back to our lunges. Feet are hip distance apart. Chest up tall, bending both knees and pulling up. Keeping the front knee over the ankle. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up the other side. Right at the arch. Feet are hip distance, chest up tall, and down and up. Notice my goal is 2 90-degree bends with the knee, keeping the front knee over the ankle. 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up. So keeping the tubing, this is a great time to grab some water. Let's place our mat on the floor. And keep your tubing close by. Both legs extended forward. Chest up nice and tall and hinge from the hips, feeling the stretch in the hamstrings. Inhale and exhale. And release. So coming down to the floor, and once again, tubing close by. Let's start with just the knees into the chest. Hold yourself here. And taking the band, here's what you're going to do. Around the arch of the foot and around again. But I want you to make sure you have more or less the same amount of tubing on both sides. So once again, you can choose, do I hold it from the handles or do I hold further in? The goal is resistance. So now, if I gave you a hot bowl of soup, your knees are in towards your chest and I want you to push your heels up to the sky and in towards the chest and up to the sky. Taking your time. So grounding your elbows into the floor so they maintain the resistance of the band. Now your feet are going to want to wiggle. So half of this exercise is you moving smoothly with full control with your legs. This actually engages the little tiny muscles we call stabilizers. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, keep the knees slightly bent, and I want you to push them apart and control them in. Push them apart, control in. The band is going to want to snap you back into the center, and I need you to control the band. Now your center's engaged. Inhale one way, exhale the other. 3 and 2. Now 1. Are you ready for that first exercise again? Bowl of soup on the feet so we don't spill. And pull the knees in and then push the heels up. Moving slow enough that both legs are actually moving exactly the same. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now separate the feet and bring them in. And separate and bring them in. 5 more. Taking your time so you control the band as the legs go in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down. So simply taking a moment right here, crossing into a figure 4, pulling both legs in. And the other side. And now both feet down, hands behind the head, hovering off the ground, so just lifting up about an inch. And now take your awareness to your rib cage. So this is what needs to contract and squeeze in order to lift your body up off the ground. So deep breath, and as you exhale, the rib cage tightens and then releases. And squeeze from the ribs and then let go.
4, 3, 2.
We have 4, 3, and 2. Now 1. Come down. Taking your band again, this time only around 1 foot. Trying to keep, again, the band very even on both sides. And what you're going to do is hold the band. I think for this one I need to hold the handles out to the side as much as you can. So 2 things are happening. Your arm is working, and we have this leg, and you're reaching the leg across. You can bend the knee, and I want you to move from your hip joint, engaging your inner thighs. You have 5. And remember, the arm is controlling the resistance, so if it feels like, oh, this is too heavy, you can bring your arm in more, you can hold it up higher so that there's more give to the band, and then you adjust your resistance. 1 more. And come down. Now the same thing on the other foot. So right at the arch of the foot, taking hold of the tubing on the side. You can bend the knee slightly or keep the leg extended and move across. Using your breathing, keeping engaged in the center. Inhale 1 way, exhale the other. 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Letting go of the band. Now taking your feet hip distance apart, arms by your sides, and pulling up into a bridge. So from this position, your goal is to keep neutral spine. So in theory, it's a straight line from the knees to the shoulders. Now control the legs out and back in. Keeping the engagement in the glutes and in the abdominals. Inhale 1 way, exhale the other. 4, and 3. Now 2, and 1. Come down, hands behind the head, hover off the floor, focus on the rib cage, and contract and release. Inhale 1 way, exhale the other. Last 5, 4, 3, and 2. Now 1. Come down. 1 more set of the legs. Taking your band all the way around, grabbing it nice and even, and holding the arms out to the side. Here we go. And taking your leg across. Now remember, the knee can be bent, the arm can be up higher to give the leg less resistance, or the arm is down lower for more resistance. Shoulders are back and down, engaging the center. 4,
House music.
3, 2, and 1. Taking the band off, other side. Bending the knee slightly if you want, or keeping the leg extended and moving across. Both shoulders are down and back into the mat, and your center is engaged. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Undoing your tubing. Feet are hip distance, hands by your side. Come up into the bridge. Shoulders are all the way back. Now gripping your toes into the floor, open the knees and close. Engaging from the center, keeping the glutes engaged. Inhale one way, exhale the other. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down. Now, taking the knees back in, this time keeping them bent. Hands go out to the sides. Shoulders are pushed down into the mat. And slowly allow the legs to fall to one side without lifting the opposite shoulder. So the shoulder stays against the floor and come up, and the other side. So your shoulders are going to dictate your range of motion. Now, the moment the legs move is when you need to engage from your center. Tightening up through the rib cage. Inhale one way, exhale the other. One more on each side. And come down to center. Turning yourself over. Coming up. And this is another great time to grab some water, honestly. So as I push myself in position, bring yourself down to your elbows and backing the knees up so you keep your neutral spine. And from this position, I want you to focus on your left side. All you're going to do is contract the glute and release. So try not to think about lifting, because then we don't engage the muscles the way we should. So I want you to contract and release. At the same time, your center is engaged, pulling the navel up towards your spine. Inhale one way, exhale the other. Contracting the glute and releasing. 4 and 3. Now 2 and 1. Bring the leg down the other side. Contract and release. Contract and release. Using your breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Separating your knees and stretching back. Come center again. Placing your knees in position, keeping the neutral spine. Now think, left side starts, and contract and release. Contract and release. You'll notice that my spine does not change. My hips stay in one spot. That's your goal. Contract and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The other side. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, separating the knees, stretch back. And bring yourself back up. I'm going to sit sideways so you can see better what I'm going to do. Knees are bent, arms are up at you. Now, think spine. Up, lifting up, pulling the shoulders back and down. This creates neutral spine. That's your goal. Now, you're only hinging basically from the hip. You're bending only from your hip. So here you are, contracting the abdominals, hinge back and come up. And hinge back and come up. Heels stay against the floor, chest stays up, shoulders stay back. Five, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your feet in for butterfly. Deep breath and exhale. We have one more set. Back up. Anchoring yourself to the floor. Lift the chest up, shoulders back and down. Arms a chini. And hinge back. Now, this does not have to be a large move. It can be incredibly small. The most important part of this move is that you are hinging from the hip as opposed to bending from the center of the spine. So really keeping your spine at neutral the entire time. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come center. Extending both legs out about hip distance apart. Deep breath. And exhale, hinge forward. As you come up, left hand behind and turn without really using your right arm. Pulling back from the elbow. Again, forward and hinge. Arm back. One more time, hinge forward. And turn and twist. Twist. And now come center. Utilizing your hands for resistance for this one. Hands go behind the head, deep breath. Exhale, I want you to stretch your chin down to your chest. This is where you feel it stretch right behind the neck. Now use your hands and resist as you come up. Once again, chin to chest. And resist, chin to chest. Resist, one more time, chin to chest, and resist, twisting over to the left and hold, left elbow back as far as it can go, come center, other side, and center, bring yourself over to a side stretch, so as I extend my left arm up, my left hip pushes into the floor, now same arm, into a bit of a twist, same arm, ear to shoulder, push the other shoulder down and hold. And release, arm up and over, pushing the right hip into the floor. And same arm, give yourself a twist. And ear to shoulder. And release, so turning yourself to the side. So you can either just bend the leg by itself, grab onto your pants, or grab onto your shoe or ankle. And the goal is going to be to push the knee away and then push the knee back so that you feel the stretch right along your quadricep. Chest is uplifted, keeping your spine at neutral the whole time. And release, deep breath, and exhale and hold. And release the other side. Coming over to the side, same thing, either no hands or holding on to the pants or the ankle. Either way, the knee presses back and down and release and press back and down and release. Coming center, shoulders go up, back and around, all the way up. One more. And take the arms forward, interlace the fingers, stretch forward. Release, pull both arms back as far as they can go, hinge slightly forward. And again, come forward, stretch the hands. Release, pull the arms back and hinge. One more time. Stretch your hands. And pull back and hinge. And release. Thank you so much for joining me in today's class. Go out there, make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day, and you're keeping your body just moving and grooving as much as you can. That's what gives us strength, power, and energy throughout the day.